Have you ever experienced a moment where reading something completely transformed your way of thinking forever? That's what Brianna Wiest's book, 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think, aims to do. While this book offers many profound insights in this video, we'll go through the ones that either introduced new perspectives I hadn't heard of before or had a significant impact on me. If you would like to read the full book, check out our link below. Routines seem boring and appear to be the opposite of what makes life exciting. But have you ever been on a long trip, filled with incredible activities and sights, only to find yourself missing the routine of starting your day at the gym? Routine is actually essential in daily life because it sets the tone for your mood and prevents impulsiveness, the very thing that often leads to unwanted outcomes. This is why on vacation, we might impulsively start drinking in the morning or skip exercise. Without a structured routine, we lose the habits that keep us grounded and improving. Real emotional maturity is allowing yourself to fully feel everything. Coming from an immigrant background, where emotions weren't openly discussed, I once believed that strength meant not showing feelings. But true maturity is feeling everything deeply and still doing the work on yourself. If you think you should just sit around after a breakup and feel depressed for months, remember that emotions are usually temporary. Joy or anger typically last minutes or hours. More persistent symptoms like depression are different and require attention. Work through your emotions, but don't suppress them. If you numb your anger, you also numb your joy. Learn to feel it all. Believe that happiness is a choice. This can be difficult to accept because if you're not happy, it means the responsibility falls on you. But that's the truth. Own it. Make the choices that lead to a better life and cultivate happiness. True happiness consists of 3 forms and all must be present for fulfillment. 1. Happiness of pleasure. Sensory joys like enjoying a delicious meal after being hungry or feeling the warmth of a loved one's touch. 2. Happiness of grace. Gratitude for the present moment. 3. Happiness of excellence. Pursuing something meaningful and great. Drinking may bring pleasure, but without striving for excellence, it won't create lasting happiness. Balance all 3 for true fulfillment. It's easier to act your way into a new way of thinking than to think your way into a new way of acting. So, if you want to shift your mindset, start taking action and let momentum build. If you are unclear about something, take action. Action and its consequences will bring clarity. This might seem manipulative, but if you feel like your partner doesn't value what's important to you, take action to show them its significance. Encourage their involvement and observe how they respond to gain clarity on where they stand. You can control how you treat people, but you cannot control what they think. You could be the kindest person to someone, yet they may still perceive you as mean. Be good and don't stress others' perceptions. You can't control them. If you feel like you're not receiving enough love, consider how much you're giving. The energy you put out is what returns to you. Rethink how you celebrate important milestones. Many people spend their special days with distant relatives they only see on holidays, rather than the people they have a genuine connection with. Celebrate with those who truly make you happy. Move on from painful relationships. Once you do, you'll realize your worth and the power to choose better. Don't waste time arguing with people who aren't interested in understanding you, only in proving themselves right. Write down what annoys you about others and reflect on how it mirrors your own insecurities. For example, if you despise your overly clingy neighbor, maybe you secretly fear that same need for love but suppress it due to embarrassment. The purpose of a relationship is self-discovery, learning what excites you, what frustrates you, and where you need to show yourself more love. Ask yourself daily, what do I want? Our needs and desires evolve. You may have once prioritized climbing the corporate ladder, but now you may value family time more. Don't be afraid if your answers change over time. We are wired to perceive negative news as more important than positive. But don't let your brain default to negativity. Train it to seek the positive, just as you train your body at the gym. Don't be a naive realist. Your thoughts and emotions are not always reliable. Everything you experience is filtered through your mind's perception. To achieve anything, you only need self-control, a disciplined routine, and unwavering dedication. With these, all goals are within reach. Adopt the mindset of an explorer. Most people think like settlers, believing that reaching milestones like homeownership, marriage, or a career is the final goal. But life is about continuous growth and evolution. Everything is hard. You just choose your hard. Marriage is hard. Divorce is hard. Being overweight is hard. Staying fit is hard. Being in debt is hard. Practicing financial discipline is hard. Choose wisely. Measure your life by your ability to handle discomfort. The number of times you've questioned yourself, how often you've changed your mind, and the relationships you've built. Don't be more nostalgic for things that never happened than grateful for the amazing things happening to you now. Many of your problems are self-created. The good news? Everything has a solution. We equate stillness with inactivity and inactivity with failure. But instead of filling your time with meaningless tasks, take time to reflect on your life and how you can improve. Don't catastrophize. One bad remark from a colleague doesn't mean you're terrible at your job. One argument with a partner doesn't mean the relationship is doomed. There's a new wave of people who think adulting is impossibly hard, that they need to quit their jobs just to keep their homes clean and brush their teeth. Many things are difficult, but performing basic life functions is not one of them. You are not your struggles. Saying, I sometimes feel anxious is very different from saying, I am an anxious person. If you define yourself by your problems, overcoming them becomes much harder. Trust your gut. Someone may seem like the perfect match on paper, but if something feels off, listen to that quiet inner voice. If you've dismissed online dating, realize that this is how most people meet nowadays. Is avoiding discomfort worth potentially spending years alone? Telling the truth isn't mean. We're just not used to hearing things we don't want to hear. We have a strange attraction to pain. The facial expression we make during an orgasm is the same one we make when experiencing extreme pain. We don't necessarily like suffering, but we crave intensity and growth. We often cling hardest to things that aren't meant for us. Why? Because deep down, we know they aren't ours. The best things in life aren't forced and never leave us feeling uncertain. The happier you are with your decisions, the less validation you'll need from others. Your actions speak louder than anyone's words. Love and success are renewable resources. Someone else's success doesn't take away from yours. Everything in your life exists because you created it. Anything that persists is because you're feeding it. Who you were doesn't define who you will be. Don't let old beliefs dictate new experiences. Your brain is wired to affirm what you already believe. Be aware of this bias and challenge your assumptions. Your character is defined by how graceful you accept what isn't meant for you and how fiercely you fight for what is. For all the introverts out there, you crave solitude because it nourishes you emotionally. There's a difference between how you feel and how you think you should feel. Whatever problem you think you have isn't the real problem. The problem is how you're thinking about it. Analyze it from a different perspective. Anyone can find life's positives, but only a few can take pain and find meaning in it. The idea that humans should be constantly happy is a modern and deeply flawed belief. Happiness is a byproduct of doing things that are challenging, meaningful, and beautiful. Which of these ideas have changed the way you think and moved you away from being the average person? Let's discuss in the comments.